Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, September 20th, I believe, and I'm here for my weekly cross-stitching update. So I have a decent amount to share, quite a few plans. I don't think I'll be able to get to everything I have planned this coming week, but go big or go home, right? Some administrative details from last week's video that I forgot to say earlier. I have a 10,000 subscriber giveaway going on my last video, and it's titled Thrilled to Pieces. Like 197 maybe is the number. And if you go back to that video, you can see some of the things I'm giving away to celebrate hitting the 10,000 subscriber mark. So also with that, you have another week to enter. So I'm gonna pull the names next week. So you still have one more week. You can enter on that video. Make sure you comment on that video. Also, going along with that, I have a coupon code that's going on right now in my Etsy shop, and it was scheduled to go through the end of the day on the 22nd because that would be a full 10 days. However, last week it took me so long to get my video edited, uploaded, etc. that the first day, the 13th, was pretty much over before I even got it posted. So there was really only 9 days valid of the coupon, and I don't want that to be. I want it to be a full 10 days. And so because none of you actually had access to it on the first day, I'm going to go ahead and put up a sale on the 23rd. So it'll be a 10th day. I wasn't able to edit the dates of the coupon, so I just put up a sale for that one more day. So that last day on the 23rd, 10% off PDFs, print copies, and kits in my Etsy shop, and it will be, you don't need a coupon code on that day, on the 23rd. All the other days through the 22nd, you'll still need the coupon code. But then I added a bonus day sale, no coupon code needed for the 23rd only, just to give you one more day, a full 10 days, because I don't want to gyp you. So anyways, I had to include that. You can get back to whatever wonderful stitchy goodness I am sharing with you in the main video. So talk to you later. So I have a few things to share that I received this week. First one is some stitchy kindness that I got through email. Somebody found this pattern on Etsy and had it sent to me. Super sweet. Thank you so much. This is perfect. It's got a kitty and books and coffee, or in my case, tea. So she suggested that I might make this as a little pillow to go with, like a doll pillow to go with the doll quilt that I'll be making for my daughter. That's a great suggestion. I also think my sister would like this because she likes cats and books and coffee. I might have to make it twice. I can make one with her cat's coloring and one with my cat's coloring. Yeah, that's happening. I don't know when, but it's so small I could probably do it travel stitching at some point. So fun. Thank you. And I got, there was a lady in my church whose friend was getting rid of a bunch of fabric, and some of it was for a project to make dresses through a ministry at my church, but I saw that was in the bag a jelly roll of quilt fabrics, which isn't really going to work to make dresses, but it would make pretty quilts. I've never had a jelly roll before. They're long, skinny strips of fabric that you can use to make quilts, and I'm so excited. So if you have a favorite jelly roll pattern, send me some links. I know I'll probably be able to come up with something at some point and do some Google searches on my own, but I'm like, hey, yay! Yay! So that's my first jelly roll. I'm excited about that. And I got a couple things from the Fat Quarter shop this week. One is some of their new floss flower bobbins. I got a couple of them, so I could do 2 small projects or 1 bigger project. So these are where you can like wind the thread around the flower petals, but then you also have a hole where you can put like your working threads. So those are fun. I'll have to put those to use. And then I also got the goodies that go along with the Autumn Beauties mystery stitch along that they're going to start in October to go along with Stitchtober, I think is what the Fat Quarter Shop calls it. And every Friday in October, yeah, every Friday in October, they're going to release one new part for the Autumn Beauties mystery stitch along. And I'll put a picture up of their teaser photo. It's got sunflowers on it, hence the sunflower themed items. And I couldn't resist. I don't have time for this, but I couldn't resist. And I know my sister really likes sunflowers, so I even have somebody I can give it to when I'm done. So I went ahead and agreed to get it and participate. So I got all the goodies. It comes with 14 count oatmeal Aida, which is actually slightly modeled, so that'll be fun. Go ahead and use that for it. And it has some themed line keepers to put on the pattern, and a needle minder, and some floss biddies with different pictures on it as well. So this is an example where you can wind it around, and you can also use the holes for the working threads that you have. And I also have the Classic Colorworks pack. There's a DMC pack available as well, so the pattern is charted in both DMC and Classic Colorworks. So that's really fun. I guess that's how that's gonna look. So it's gonna be nice fall stitching. I don't have a lot of fall stitching. I know it's some people's favorite season, and I tend to be more spring, summer in my color choices. So it'll be fun to have something fall themed that I can work on. And my plan at this point, in order to make room for it, is every Friday in October, I'm gonna set aside the Friday, all of my stitching time on Friday, to work on that new part that comes out. I don't know how well that will work for staying caught up, but I'm gonna try. I'll probably do travel stitching and home stitching all on every Friday to see if that will stay caught up. I'm not sure how big the parts will be, so we'll have to wait and see it. But that's kind of the plan. So that's fun. I'm excited about that. And I also have a plan while we're talking about October 1st. Colette, the Highway Stitcher, is having a birthday in October, and she's starting a whole bunch of things, just like I am here in September. And her first start is going to be Soda Stitches at the time for myself. I always think it's a time for myself, or just time for myself, but it's the time for myself. And I've had this for a few years now. It's really cute. Love the colors. Love that she's stitching, but she's also got a quilt on her lap. And I like the colors. I think I already said that. In the border, there's flowers, but there's also bobbins and scissors and things. So it's really sweet. They have examples of a couple different fabrics. So I told Colette I would start this with her. So that first day, I may only just like get the first stitch in. I'll probably maybe spend the weekend working on this and maybe just start it with her and do one length of thread and then go back to Autumn Beauties, because I want to spend most of my Friday on that. But I decided to go ahead and start this, and I discovered I kind of like this look. I also like these two. The pink one is good too. But I like this, but maybe not quite so dark. And so I thought, well, I just came up with Whisper linen for the 4 seasons last week, and I measured it this morning, and I have enough. This is a fat quarter. I have enough of this fabric to do both of these. So I think this will be perfect. It'll be hopefully dark enough to show the little like white stitches that are in the border, and that'll pop off. This has back stitching, so I'm not that worried about it. But some of these things, I want to make sure they stand out, and I think it will. So I will get this prepped, and I'll start this on October 1st with Colette. And I'm kind of in a starting all the things mood right now, and I don't know why, because I also have this niggling reality that I have way too many things The more things I start, the less time I can spend on everything. And I would really like to work on all of them, so I'm just kind of shooting myself in the foot. But the other side of things is once I have something kitted up in my closet with pretty fabric, it feels started almost to me. And at that point, it's almost like it's sitting in my closet unloved and uncared for, and I'm not giving it time because it's not technically started. So having these things, if they're ready to start, if somebody is gonna start the same thing that I know, you know, a friend, stitchy friend, I want to jump on and do it just because then it's started, then it's ready. And whenever I get the time or inclination to work on it, I have it and it's ready to go. So yeah, I'm crazy when it comes to stitching, but that's okay. So let's go, I'll do the rest of my plans at the end, but since I had talked about October 1st, starting Autumn Beauties, I went ahead and did that plan right away, but the rest of the plans I'll do at the end. What I worked on this past week, first thing was my Buttons and Beads kit for Mill Hill Monday. This is called Hummingbird, and I did 2 links of thread on this on Monday. So I realized I had left all my this week's project covers downstairs, so I'm back. So this is where I got to on Hummingbird, and I did 2 strands of these small green beads up here. So it's really filling out that top portion quite a bit, which is nice. I'm using all the called for everything. And then the main project, oh yeah, let's do my travel stitching too. I did a good amount of travel stitching this week. So we'll start off with my temperature typography. I guess I usually start with this, but I started with my Mill Hill anyways. Got two letters finished in the word September. So making progress on that. This is 28 count 1/1, full crosses on some mystery pale blue even weave. And I'm really liking how it's coming together. It is getting a little bit cooler now, into the 80s as our high occasionally. It may still go back up because that's what it does, but it cools off really nice at night, so it does feel very fall-like in the evenings at least, so that's good. My main travel stitching was the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery's Cozy Cafe Club. This is their 2021 Mystery Stitch Along. And this is the sort of thing that the Autumn Beauties by the Fat Quarter Shop will be. Well, they will release one piece in the Autumn Beauties, they'll release one piece every week. This one, they're releasing one piece every month. So this is the one for September, or August actually. September's will come out on the 25th. So I have this week to work on something else because I finished this part. Yay! I had a lot of stitching time in the car on Saturday because we went to a cross-country meet for my son that was an hour and a half away, so got everything all caught up. So here is where this is now, and it's on 25 count 1/1 full crosses on Prim vintage cloth. You can find that at the Fat Quarter Shop, and it's called for DMC in all the cups, and I substituted the border colors with some fancy floss that are similar. I made this hot tea instead of coffee, and everything else is the same. Oh, these beads, it called for like champagne colored beads, and I am converting this to petite beads since I'm doing tiny stitches, and I just using what's in my stash. So I have some like cranberry colored beads, some black beads, and now pale pink beads, because that's the closest I had to champagne, and I think it's cute on the donut. If one of these other pieces calls for the champagne beads and it wouldn't look good to be pink, I might have to go back and see what else I have that would work better. Smokey is up here with me. When I went to get my patterns from downstairs, she came up. Woo! She came up to be with me. I haven't shown her in a couple weeks because she's been too feisty. Yeah, you've been too feisty. Today you're doing better. So here's Smokey. She's getting so big. Whoa. So she's fun, but she can get into trouble. Eating earbuds is one of her favorite pastimes at this point. So we're coming up with solutions to keep them out of her grasp when she's left alone. So I also, because I got my temperature typography caught up, and I got caught up on the Cozy Cafe Club, I got to work on my Prim Stitch series again. This is number 12 of 12. It's the last one. And once I'm done with this one, I'm going to put all 12 together into a little doll stuffed animal quilt for my daughter to play with. So I'm hoping to get this finished soon. I'm going to spend this week travel stitching only on this piece. I don't know that I'll be able to get it finished this week, but I'm going to spend some decent time on it in the travel stitching valet line. So we'll see how far I can get spending some time on it. So far I finished the fingers on top of the hand. So this is also 25 count vintage cloth in the color Prim. Same cloth I'm doing the Cozy Cafe Club on. Don't eat that. No. She's eating the plastic Ziploc bags that my patterns are in. Anyways, this is 1/1 full crosses for a good chunk of it, but I'm also adding some specialty stitches in key areas where I think it'll be fun, like the heart, center of that star, and some of the flowers. We'll see what I end up doing. So that's fun to finally get to spend some time on this. See an end to that project. Okay, so my main stitching on Monday and Tuesday was my story by Jeanette Douglas. And I didn't get a whole lot of time on this on Monday and Tuesday. Just life kept me from stitching. So I worked a little bit on these flowers right here on Monday and Tuesday, but didn't get them done. Then as you'll see, I think it was Thursday, I did a stitch with me, did a little bit more, finished the pink flowers, and started in on the specialty stitch white stitches right here. I was supposed to work on Knitting Woman that day, I believe, for my main project, but I couldn't, it wasn't sitting right with me to leave this band unfinished, to leave this string hanging on this one. I just couldn't do it. So I spent the rest of Thursday working on this instead of Knitting Woman, which didn't get any time this week. I may or may not fit it in later, but at this point, I'm okay with that. So I went ahead and finished this band, and actually got started on this band before I put it away. And I'm much happier with the progress on this than I would have been if I had left it where it was. So that's the important thing, right? Hi, Kitty. All right, this is on 32 count lamb's wool linen by Witchell. So it's a little stiff and see-through, but as you can see, it does look different. If you watch my stitch with me, I was starting this stitch called a pineapple stitch, and I figured it out on camera. I'm hoping to do a stitch with me roughly once a month, but no guarantees as to the exact day. Since I was planning to do it Tuesday, it ended up being Thursday, just if my husband's lunch plans get rescheduled because they have meetings come up, you know, life happens. So I'm hoping to do it once a month, but no guarantees as to exactly when. Kitty. So this band is finished. It's got some beads in the middle of the yellow flowers, and then pineapple stitches here in like a brickwork looking thing, and then I'm starting in on this bottom one. And the called for thread, I think, has some more green in it than this one does. This one's blues and tans, and I think the other one would have some greens and tans and blues. So I might go and see if I have anything even better now than I did when I kitted this up to make it a little more like they suggested, but I might just stick with this because this is pretty as well. So I'll probably just stick with it because I've already done a little bit of it. It's a Milanese stitch, I think is what that one was called. basically just diagonal stitches in a variety of lengths, and it makes kind of its little thing. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't eat my jelly roll. She's attacking my jelly roll. Okay, so I worked on that. I also worked on my, I think this was Wednesday, I worked on my anniversary piece a little bit by the window in the morning. As always, I don't get it quite as much as I hoped, just because life keeps me from things. But I did get the verse charted, and it's ready to go. It's not stitched, but it is there. So this is what I got done. I decided rather than try to chart it and start stitching that in the time I had without calling attention to it, because it's still a surprise for my husband, and I have to chart it in the room with his computer as well. So I decided to go ahead and just keep stitching, and then the next day I worked on charting it and put the verse pattern in the folder that this came in, and yeah, I'll start stitching it next time, I guess. So I finished back stitching over here. I guess there's some back stitch in the around the window panes, which you probably can't see on camera. You can see it a little bit in person. And this is all the back stitching they had called for in that curtain. Kind of feel like it needs something else right here, but I'll again wait and see till the end if I want to do anything more with the curtains. And I came over here and did 3 colors, I think, in his hair. There's one more darkest color in his hair before I can add the skin and then backstitch it. So it's getting there. Slowly but surely. If I want this done by next year, I may have to step it up and give it more than 1 day a week or 1 day a month, because 1 day is just so hard to get progress. I think what I might end up doing, like I was talking last time, is if I have, rather than picking days and saying this gets 1 day, this gets 2 days, use the challenge prompts in Facebook groups for stitches, because it kind of feels like stitch counts end up, I see more progress. If I have 200, 300, 400 stitches, it's sometimes more than I would get on, if I spend 1 day on a piece, I'll get maybe 100, 150, 200 if I'm lucky, depending on the project. So if I have a stitch goal, it doesn't have to be day specific, because it could be like 1.5 days, and then I'll get to my goal and I'll pick up the next one. So I might try that going forward into the future, just to see a little bit more progress on some of these before I put them away. All right, seemed like Smokey wanted to go out, and I offered to let her out, and she just hid under the bed. So that's her own fault if she doesn't take the opportunity. So let's see. Also on Wednesday, I worked on His Name is Jesus, because I talked to Desiree, the Addicted Stitcher, on a video call. So we like to work on this together when we visit. And here is where I got to this time. So this is on 28 count, Ivory Lugana, 1/1, full crosses. And I still have some thread on my needle, as you can see. I finished Son of Man, that's what I had been working on, the A and the N. Then I came over here and I'm doing the Way, so I have the W. So I'll finish Way. I'm trying to think if there's one more over here I want to do, or if I'll just go ahead and get started on the His Name is Jesus, which is right here in the center. And Desiree just finished the center motif, His Name is Jesus. So and we have a similar stitch count progress on this. So it's so fascinating to see the amount of stitches in the big motif in the middle is the same amount of stitches as all these little motifs around the top edge. So that's pretty fun to see how that compares. Also on Wednesday, while I was talking to Desiree, I started something. Right before our call, she casually asked, "Have you started cat alphabet yet?" because it's one that she recently purchased me for my birthday, and Heaven and Earth Designs, and she has this and had recently started it also. So she's like, hey, have you started it yet? Because then we could, you know, enjoy seeing each other's progress as we work on it. I said, no, I should probably figure out if I have fabric for it. So guess what I did in the time while I was waiting for our call to start? I went and found fabric. So then before I worked on His Name is Jesus, I put in a small start on cat alphabet, literally like a small length of thread. That's all I did. Like 64 stitches or something like that. But it started. This is also 28 count ivory Lugana. I decided to do 1/1 full crosses because this fabric doesn't work well with a half stitch. I had started Empress Eugenie on this fabric, so it's a huge piece of fabric. And I restarted Empress Eugenie because I need a 2-strand half stitch with that project because it has blends. So I either need a 2-strand half stitch or a 2-strand full cross, but since it's so big, I wanted to make it half stitches. And so I thought, well, everything it seemed to be like slipping and warping a little bit too much on this Lugana. So I decided, okay, Lugana is only going to be full crosses from now on. So that's why I chose it for my His Name is Jesus. Cut a piece of this off a little while back when we started this project. I measured what was left. It was exactly perfect for cat alphabet, so I think it was meant to be. So I went ahead and started that. And I think what I'm going to do, I have my symbol choosing method lately where I go, you know, left to right, top to bottom, choosing symbols. I think on that piece, because of the way it's laid out, I think it would be fun to do that just within one box. So I'll do top to bottom, left to right across this first box, and then kind of work my way down. And then when that box is finished, I'll do top to bottom, left to right on the A. And I think that'll be more fun than getting all the way across. The other thing I had was I could treat this like the stitching shelf and somehow work my way to all of the letters and have a little bit done on all of them. But I think I would rather do one at a time at this point. So I may change my mind in the future, but I have a drawn thread piece that I may start at the beginning of next year that was gifted to me that has all the different letters of the alphabet also. So that piece might be easier to use if I ever had like an alphabetical type challenge in a Facebook group to pick on a certain individual letter than this one. So I'll probably do this one block at a time. And I think it'll be fun to kind of see the block fill out completely as I go along. So that's my plan on that one. And then I started Butterfly Cat, which is my third birthday start. It's technically called Butterfly from Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm doing the Max Colors version because I want all the detail I can get, and I don't mind lots of colors. I just use my master set, so it doesn't bother me I don't need to purchase all the threads at the very beginning. So this one I ended up starting on the ear because I'm starting at the top, and this one was about, yeah, like 20-30 stitches higher than this wing. So I was kind of hoping to start with the wing, but starting with the ear. So the beginning of this feels a lot like Cherry Kitten, which I'm also working on because that one is a little cat, and I have a lot of the ear and top of the head done as well. This one's a smaller pattern, so I have more, I was able to get to more of the head already than this butterfly cat. Here it is. So, but it's fun. So I didn't get any time on this on Saturday because of the cross-country meet. I didn't take it with me, and by the time we got home, it was already time to just be done. So only Friday and Sunday. It's still good. This is on Smokey's being rambunctious in the background. This is on 28 count Nessie, cashel linen, I believe. So it does have some slubs in it, but I think it's going to be mostly okay. And this is how far I got to. You can see the start of the ear and kind of the bottom of the ear and top of the head. A lot of the edge colors were pale. And then now I'm just starting in on the dark colors because I believe the ears will be rimmed with dark fur. So that's kind of fun. So that's how far I got. That's how far I got in 2 days. And I think that's fun. Picture this plus, Nessie. I think that's everything that I actually worked on this week. So, plans. Quite a few things planned for this week. So we'll see how much I'm able to get on them. First thing, I'm gonna spend 1 day on my Celtic Lady sampler, and I still need to get this updated for you guys. I'm still planning to release like an outlined version to let you know placement. If you have these charts, then you're able to stitch it. I can't just give you this pattern, but I can give you the outlines so you can know how to make the collage. And I'm planning to do that, and I'll post it in my blog, I think, at some point. I just haven't done it yet. And I feel like I'm way too busy right now to work on it, but eventually I will do it. So I have a start on spring and summer. I want to start on autumn today. So I think I'm over here somewhere on autumn. So I think I could just pop over and start working on, summer. Could pop over and work on autumn from this point. So I'll have to open it up here and take a look. But this is my lavender and lace. I have all the patterns that were gifted to me by Belinda, the Aussie stitcher, and I'm excited to get autumn started. I'd like to start each one of them near the beginning of that season, and this week is the beginning of autumn in the Northern Hemisphere. So here's my start on Celtic Ladies Collage. I did a decent amount of start on spring, but then I most of my summer stitching rotation, I was actually kind of coming down to make sure I was counting right. And so I think a lot of this I actually worked on during the summer rotation. But this stuff is pretty easy. I could just do the autumn area starting from here. So that's my plan, is to get down here and work on the autumn quadrant. This is 32 count lamb's wool linen by Witchell. It's very stiff. You can hear it crunch. Smokey keeps trying to eat my patterns behind me. She's being so helpful. And then on the 21st is 2 friends' birthdays. So I also, Lord willing, will have a visit with a friend. So I'll probably work on a couple more projects while she's visiting. I won't show those just in case. I don't want to jinx anything. But the plan is Tuesday evening, I'm going to start Gracious Era with Terry Lee Crafts for her birthday. And this is a Dimensions Gold collection. And I'm going to use everything that's called for. I have the fabric. It's like a light gray, what does it say? Dove gray. 16 count Dove gray Ada. And it's ironed and rolled and serged and ready to go. And I still need to sort my thread. So that's something I need to do eventually. Don't know if I'll have time for that today because I want to work on the Celtic sampler and my Mill Hill Monday hummingbird. So we'll see. My start may consist of sorting threads, but we'll see. Hopefully I can get to that and get some stitches in on it to celebrate Terry Lee Crafts' birthday. And then on, let's see, Wednesday and Thursday, I'm planning to work on Garden Prelude for Dawn's birthday, Frosty X Stitch here on Flosstube. Last year we started this together for our birthdays because we both have September birthdays. And so I thought it was appropriate if we work on it again this year on her birthday. So she worked on some of her Heaven and Earth designs that matched, I think, her cross. She has a cross Heaven and Earth design. So when I was starting my cross, the butterfly rose cross, she worked on hers. So that was fun. So I'm gonna work on mine on Wednesday and Thursday to go along with Dawn's birthday. So here is where I'm at with this one. This is Coloring Cotton something. Wedgwood. Color and Cotton Wedgwood Lugana. It's an even weave, and I've finished the structure of the arches, but there's a little bit more stitching to do. Looks like I have the second color to finish filling out here on each side, as well as the in the pillars. So I'll probably do a little bit of that at least, but I may also get some more stitches in on her dress because I love that color that's starting to show up. Or her hair. She has a lot of hair left to do, so I may do some fun stuff as well as pillar, but I should probably be good and do at least a little bit of pillar. So this is a really pretty gray blue that I think will make a good backdrop for the garden setting that she's in. And it kind of feels a little like a nighttime evening scene to me. I suppose you could make it anything you want. You could make it morning or afternoon or evening. But there's some flowers in the background too. So I think that'll go really well with all of that. And then it's time for my 4th and final birthday start. And yes, I started Cat Alphabet this week. And yes, I'm going to start Gracious Era tomorrow. But neither one of those are my birthday start. They're for other people. Or they're for me, but they're going along with other people. So I still need my 4th birthday start to celebrate turning 40 this month. Originally, I had said I wanted to start Black Lace Sampler by the Rosewood Manor because it's one I received for my birthday last year. And I was going to do that on 28 count. Even weave with Deepest Blue floss by the Victorian Motto instead of DMC Black. And it just wasn't calling to me quite as loudly. And I remember saying this at the very beginning. This is the leading contender at the beginning of the month of which one I wanted to work on last, but I was still kind of debating. So I decided not to work on this. So that'll stay in my stash cupboard. I'll work on it at some point. But the one that was calling to me was this really cute seasonal sampler with little girls in pretty dresses. So this is, I think, the Colors of the Seasons 2 by this Italian company. You can find this on 123 Stitch, and they have it in an up and down format. I'm probably going to stitch it separately or at least in a square just so I can fit it on my fabric. And I'm not sure if I stitch it in all 4 together in a square, I can make a cushion for my little chair over here, or could stitch it small and have interchangeable cushions. Or I don't know, or put them in a frame and interchange them for the seasons. I'm not sure yet. I might start on autumn just because it's again autumn this month or this week. But this is the one I decided to start, and I'll be doing this on 27 count Linda vintage cloth, vintage country mocha. And I bought mine at the Fat Quarter Shop. I have never tried vintage country mocha. A lot of people love it, and I'm very excited to try it. So I will be doing it 2/2 full crosses because there is some back stitching involved, and so I want to make sure everything looks proportionally the way it's supposed to. So I'll be starting that likely on the little autumn girl. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be my 4th birthday start, and hopefully I'll get a full 3 days on that, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And yeah. Oh, and the Frosted Pumpkin Stitcheries September clue number 7 will come out on Saturday. So I'll probably work on my Prim Stitch series Monday through Friday. And if I get any extra stitching time on the weekend beyond my temperature typography, which often gets work on the weekend, I'll go ahead and start clue number 7 in the weekend. And next week, the rest of September, I'll be working on a bunch of family pieces. So that's going to be something to look forward to for next week. So this will be the last hurrah pretty much of birthday stitching this week, and I'm going out in style with a whole bunch of things. So hi, I need to show you this. Sitting with all my things, finally settling down, purring. you going to sleep? Super comfortable. So, so with that, I will bid you adieu and have a wonderful week. Happy stitching. Bye.